What happens when the hand that offers peace is bitten? Again and again. On the cold night of May 6, 2025, India's patience snapped. Codenamed Operation Sindoor, it wasn't a mission, it was a message, a fiery response written in precision, power, and resolve. This is the story of how India chose fire over silence. April 22nd, Pahalgam. 25 Indians and 1 Nepali executed in cold blood. Not because of what they did, but because of who they prayed to. The attackers? Pakistani-backed terrorists? Possibly ex-members of Pakistan's Border Action Team. It wasn't just terror. It was a message soaked in blood. Go and tell Modi. That's what they spat at the grieving wives, the shattered daughters, and the mourning sisters of those who were massacred. A taunt soaked in cruelty. India heard it and answered, not in words, but in war rooms. Retaliation wasn't impulsive. It was calculated, razor-sharp in design. 21 terror hubs, mapped, marked, and measured. 10 plans were drawn, but only 3 met the mark. Crafted not mere for striking back, but for maximum impact. Surgical precision and avoiding collateral. India didn't lash out in rage. It chose restraint, watching like a hawk, and when the moment came, striking like a tiger. 3 plans were ready, 1 marked for execution. Rest on standby. The countdown had begun. Just 2 hours before the strike, the approved plan was placed on hold. A silent signal was sent. Activate one of the standby operations instead. It wasn't hesitation. It was strategy. A deliberate move to preserve the element of surprise, just in case. Eyes were watching, or whispers had leaked. 1:05 a.m., May 7th. In a span of just 25 minutes, 9 terror strongholds were reduced to rubble. Jaish, Lashkar, Hizbul, each name, each den of hate, engulfed in fire. The flames of retribution lit up the skies over Po JK and Pakistan. No civilian harm, no military provocation, only terror surgically struck and buried beneath the weight of India's precision. Evening of May 7th. Pakistan strikes back, firing on temples, homes, and innocent civilians. Drones fly, missiles roar, but India doesn't flinch. In moments, a calibrated response is unleashed, targeting radar installations in Lahore, Sialkot, and Gujranwala. It wasn't India's escalation. It was a warning, precise and powerful. India knows the Pakistani military. It has watched its playbook unfold for decades. Anticipating the next move, the Indian armed forces remained on high alert, ready to crush any misadventure. May 8th, 8 p.m., Pakistan escalates further, launching wave after wave of drones and missiles across India's western front. From Jammu to Jaisalmer, 12 Indian air bases came under fire, but India stood tall. Its integrated counter-UAS grid and air defense systems kicked into action, neutralizing most threats with clinical precision. From that moment, it was no longer a skirmish, it was open warfare. Over the next 48 hours, the Indian Air Force unleashed a storm, targeting air bases, command structures, and air defense systems across Pakistan's eastern flank. Airfields in Chaklala, Rafiki, Rahim Yar Khan, and Sukhpur were pounded with precision. Strikes followed at Sargodha, Bolari, Jacobabad air bases, C2 centers at Murid, UAV complex at Murid and Rafiki, radars at Chunian, UAV hangars at Sukhpur. Command nodes collapsed. Eyes in the sky went dark. Communications severed. What began as a retaliation had now turned into a full-scale firestorm. Pakistan's much-hyped Turkish drones and Chinese hardware couldn't even scratch the surface of Indian defenses. It wasn't just superior technology, it was the strategic brilliance of the Indian armed forces that brought Pakistan to its knees in less than 3 days. Frustrated and cornered, Pakistan's political leadership began pleading with the international community, urging them to pressure India into a ceasefire. May 10th, 3 p.m., Pakistan's DGMO reached out to his Indian counterpart, quietly requesting de-escalation. No treaty was signed, no formal truce declared. But the guns fell silent. India's message had been delivered, with precision, with restraint, with undeniable power. And though the strikes had ended, Operation Sindoor is not over yet. Operation Sindoor wasn't vengeance. It was justice, executed with restraint. India's red line has now been drawn, not with ink, but with Sindoor. Let the world remember, every drop of Indian blood will be answered. With fire, with resolve, with Operation Sindoor. If this story of courage and conviction moved you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more such powerful stories based on real events. See you in the next video. Jai Hind.